If you're dating a man who was recently released from prison and he's screwing you all in between your legs and in your butt, then you definitely may want to detox. Cause ain't no telling what you got, girl. Please drop that in the comments and click this link to purchase this and other fine products so you can get that together. I don't care, I'm doing me tonight. Prison dick ain't never hurt nobody. Child, the internet is set ablaze, honey, with rumors that Tyrone has got out of prison and has plans of marrying Sheree Whitfield. And it's a travesty. Fashion icon Leon Talley is getting evicted at 71 years old. Y'all want to talk about it? Here you go. Nessa girl, y'all been all in my DMs, retweeting me, adding me on all the social media, talking about Sheree supposed to be getting married to Tyrone because Tyrone don't got out of prison. You know, Sheree having a relationship with Tyrone gives a brand new meaning to, said, I think you better call Tyrone. Because that's exactly what the hell she was doing on the collect phone. This is a call from the Wilmington, Kentucky Correctional Facility. Tyrone is calling. Do you accept the charges? I accept the charges. Nevertheless, you should accept the charges because you about got some of that damn money. His ass was in prison doing wire fraud, tapped up under your damn dresser or in a trunk somewhere. But anyway, Tyrone, y'all, was sentenced to prison in 2013 for wire fraud. He was doing some high-level scams, scamming the investors, talking about it was for fun. He was fool-la-la and gallivanting around Atlanta, masquerading as a philanthropist and an investment manager, portfolio man, had done schemed on people to hell out their money. He got sentenced to prison in 2013, but him and Sheree was dating. He cut the relationship off when the feds was out there because he didn't want to get Sheree caught up in the sauce, which was very smart, thing to do. Thank you. And that way Sheree could claim plausible deniability and not end up in jail either, because that man was going to need somewhere to stay when his ass got out. Nevertheless, in 2016, they rekindled their flame, having a phone relationship. They broke it off again some years later. After he filed an appeal to get out, and his appeal was declined. And then Tyrone has gotten out of prison now 2 years early after serving 8 years because of COVID. You know, COVID, they don't want the COVID running all up and through the prison. You know, like the 3 blind mice, so they let folks out if they on good behavior and if they can act right. And they let him out, of him and Sheree rekindle. Now here's the thing, right? I personally don't have a problem with Sheree dating Tyrone. People make bad decisions. He didn't go to jail. He didn't go to prison for being a rapist. He didn't go to prison for being a murderer. His crime was greed and deceit. Now, my only question that I have with people who date people who've been incarcerated for as long as he has is, what type of financial future are y'all going to have? I don't know what Tyrone's educational background is. I don't know if he's college degree or what. But I always wonder, and especially a woman of Sheree's caliber and at her level, what type of employment is Tyrone going to be able to secure that's going to keep her and them happy and afloat? I mean, him stocking shelves at the damn grocery store ain't going to work. Him cutting grass ain't going to work. I do know a lot of felons go out and because they can't get jobs other places, they go and become truck drivers, which is a great source of income, but it's not going to bring in the type of income that's going to sustain Chateau Sheree and Sheree's lifestyle. If anything, she's going to be shelling out a lot of her money at first to help him get off the ground, which I'm sure she don't mind, and a lot of women, a lot of y'all listen to my voice, have had to do it in the name of standing by your man and moving to the future. Again, I have no problem with Sheree dating this man. If COVID has taught us anything, is, baby, to hold on to the people that love you and love them back and love on them hard. And if they are genuinely in love, then so be it. You know, just because somebody went to prison does not mean that they should be written off and that they don't deserve nice things and that they don't deserve to live happily ever after. He has paid his debt to society. Now, whether he paid his restitution, that's a whole other situation. And that may be something that Sheree have to worry about too as it relates to them moving forward. How much of his money going to be going out the door to pay back the restitution, because you was wired millions and millions of dollars, and I'm sure you spent up most of it, and them people need their damn money. Give them their things, or whatever the case may be. But I'm all here for it. But speaking of money and giving people their things, I don't know if y'all heard this story about Leon Talley, or whatever, legendary Vogue creative director, you know, multiple decades in the business. I think he held the position at Vogue for about 30 years, working alongside Anna Wintour. The 71-year-old brother is now getting evicted from his New York home, y'all. And I don't know why this story, for whatever reason, because I've already talked about it on Fox Soul, I talked about it on Clubhouse, I'm talking about it again now. This story really bothers me, and I just think that there's a cautionary tale in this story to be told, several, and we're going to break them down. So number one, back in 2003, Leon Talley was unable to secure financing on his home the traditional way, citing that, you know, he don't get an every 2-week paycheck. You know, his money come in here, come in there, come in over there. And the banks like to see some stuff in order. Not to mention, it came out that his credit just was not in the best situation. Now, him being friends with the president of Manolo Blahnik USA. Here's Andre's story. Andre is saying that they had a handshake agreement, a gentleman's agreement, that Manolo Blahnik, president, and his husband, their names are foreign and they're hard for me to pronounce, so that's why I'm referring to them that way, cited that he and his husband bought the house for $1 million, and the arrangement was Andre would make payments on the house and pay them back $1.2 million. All right. According to the paperwork that was signed, Leon Talley never made episodic payments, meaning never made consistent monthly payments. He made payments on the house whenever his money came in. Well, recently, the Manolo Blahnik USA president and his husband filed paperwork in the courthouse saying that Andre is behind over $500,000 in rent and that they want him out so they can sell the property. Now, Andre goes back into his finances, adds up all his payments, and says he has paid them $1 million+ for the house, and now it is time for them to sign over the deed. They're arguing that is not true, that was not the arrangement, and basically he was to be leasing the house and has not made payments in forever to the tune of $500,000. Now, you got Andre's side, their side, and the truth. What do y'all believe? The Manolo Blahnik president USA is now structuring a bankruptcy. They have filed for bankruptcy. And many people speculate that they want to take this house from up under this man because they're experiencing financial hard times themselves, and they want to sell it for personal gain. I honestly and truthfully hope that is not the case, because that is very low down, especially if y'all did have a gentleman's agreement wherein that you received $1 million+ for the house already, which totals the payoff cost of the house. But there's just so much here to talk about. Number one, this is evidentiary of the fact that Leon Talley just does bad business. Because the first thing I'm wondering is, where is your money? Where's your money? Seriously, where is your money? Now, I know you and me, I can't just be like, $500,000 ain't nothing. No, that's a whole lot of money. It's more money than some of us will ever see in 10 years. But for somebody like him, I would like to think, being the creative director for Vogue for 3 decades, that you were clearing several $1 million a year between your salary, side projects, endorsements, speaking engagements, teaching at fashion schools. It's hard for me to understand how Andre Leon Talley does not have the $500,000 in the bank to get himself out of arrears, number one. It's hard for me to understand how Andre Leon Talley in 2003 did not have $1 million to purchase his own home. And the articles go on to say that they even purchased Andre a car for $45,000 because he had problem securing financing and securing a vehicle. And so I'm just thinking, and I've been thinking about this for a while, I don't understand how you sit on the front row next to the #1 most powerful woman in media, Anna Wintour, for 30 years in every fashion show. You are invited to every party, wedding, gala, funeral, bat mitzvah, fashion release, Queen of England inauguration. You are invited to everything, sitting on the front row of everything, rubbing elbows and eating tea and crumpets with everybody. And you don't have no money. And your business is messed up. I don't understand how this happens. Now, a question I was asking, right? The sad part about it is we can sit here and dissect his life and about his shoulda, coulda, wouldas and what he should have set up and what he should have did. The reality of the situation is Andre is now 71 years old with failing health. He's not like somebody like me who's 37 and has enough life left, God willing, that you can hit rock bottom, get put out, and start over again and grind and rebuild your career. There's no rebuilding and grinding at 71 years old. You already got one foot at the grave, and the Crypt Keeper, the Grim Reaper, got your address. So there's none of that. I'll call her back. There's none of that. But am I wrong for feeling like the Naomi Campbells of the world, the Tyra Bankses of the world, the Cindy Crawfords, all these people's lives who he have touched, all these models whose careers he's stamped and given the seal of approval, which has allowed them to flourish. Am I wrong for feeling like that village should come together and help him out? And granted, it's nobody's job to, it's nobody's obligation. And you know, asking somebody for $100,000 is a lot of damn money. Or is it? Like, granted, you can't count somebody else's coins. But $100,000 don't hit for me and you the way it hit for Naomi Campbell. Especially when she got $80,000 purses and $130,000 fashions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly feel like someone like Naomi, and I'm not putting this on Naomi, I just don't know all the fashion girl names. That's why I'm calling her name. I feel like those designers, Donatella Versace, all those people, Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana, if I'm saying their names right, them giving $100,000 literally is the equivalent of somebody like me and you loaning a family member $300 because they back on their rent. And the only reason I'm asking / suggesting this is because of his age. What does he do from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a very niche level of skill sets. I don't think once you leave Vogue that Marie Claire is going to hire you, because maybe they're going to feel like you're overqualified. Not to mention you're obese and you're 71 years old and your health is failing. I just really feel bad for Andre. But one does beg the question, how did you get in this position and where is your money? On our Clubhouse show, somebody called in and said Andre Leon Talley skated on the favors of white people all his career, and basically those chickens will come home to roost. And you know what? I am inclined to believe that. I'm inclined to believe you were sitting on the front row of those shows with free clothes on. I'm inclined to believe that you were being chauffeured to the latest parties by way of the person who threw the party. I am of the belief that maybe at one point in time, Vogue probably was providing you a room and board or a stipend for room and board. I'm starting to wonder if Andre Leon Talley really was not making a lot of money, and it's just the illusion of being wealthy because you hung around wealthy people and fashionistas and you had on all the latest fashions. You know, maybe you weren't buying the fashions. Maybe you were getting the fashions for free from the fashion houses. I'm pretty sure Anna Wintour and probably yourself at the time could call any of the fashion houses and say, send me one of everything from this collection, and they would do it with no problem. Why? Because y'all had influence with Vogue, which is the trendsetter for the fashion business. So maybe Andre Leon Talley wasn't making no money. Maybe he was only making $80,000 a year in Vogue for 30 damn years. It's hard for me to believe that, being the number 2, the creative director over there in Vogue. It's very hard for me to believe that. But maybe it's true. I don't know. You know, something else in Andre's story that's a cautionary tale is mental health. He speaks about how his grandmother died in the 80s. And he would eat pies and cakes and cookies and fried chicken and to comfort him. They were all things that reminded him of his grandmother. And over time, he just blew up in size and size and size. So much so that he began draping himself with the material. It's gotten so bad, and I've known some people who have told me stories that have run into him in New York, and they say he's gotten so big and it's gotten so bad that it's not even material no more. It's literally a blanket, that he is throwing a blanket around himself. You know, another question. I understand, because I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I understand that sometimes your life and your mind can get into a black hole and you are unable to get out of it. I have been there. Y'all have witnessed me be there when I get missing for a whole month or whatever the case may be. But I've made a strong commitment to myself that when I am lucid and when I do pop back into the right state of mind, that I have to do whatever I can medically to make sure I am okay for the next time. So I'm curious to know, when it comes to his health and his mental, wherewithal, why isn't during his healthy moments you didn't go see somebody to work through the depression? I'm sorry. Nobody should be grieving no damn family member for 30 and 40 goddamn years. It's unhealthy, it's not normal, and I do not mean to sound insensitive, but coming from somebody who has lost my grandmother, who was the most important person to me, she damn near raised me because my parents worked. My grandmother, my mama, and my daddy, all under the age of 36, all of them are gone. I'm here to tell you that, bitch, you do survive, you do go on, there is life after, okay? Granted, I can't tell nobody how to mourn, when to mourn, and how they should mourn, but bitch, we got to draw a line in the sand and be able to agree that you shouldn't be goddamn grieving nobody for 30 plus damn years. Okay? I don't care who it is. You shouldn't be grieving. Now, we all have our breakdowns. I had one the other day at the stoplight where I cried. You can miss them, but you should not be grieving to the point where you was in depression for over 30-something damn years, okay? That is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. And while you were sitting up there, fool online and cackling with Anna Wintour and them ass, your ass should have been on somebody's damn sofa. I don't care what nobody say. Andre Leon Talley and the likes of him, they've got access to people, medical treatments, money, and all type of other luxuries that we don't even know exist. The type of things that they have access to. So really, all in all, it's just no excuse. And some people may argue, oh well, he made his bed, lie in it. But for whatever reason, because he's a black elder, he's 71 years old, and his impact to the fashion world has just been unmatched by an African American, I feel bad, and I don't want this to be his story. I don't want 10, 15 years from now when we're looking at the documentary, his story is one of which I was all the way up here, and when I died, I had to be buried in Potter's Field because there was no money, there was no family, there was no friends, and I left and I died destitute. I don't want that to be his story, but it's feeling like it probably is going to be. Coupled with his health issues and his age, this could bring on a lot of stress. I don't want this to happen, but if the people say Andre Leon Talley passed away in upcoming months or years, I wouldn't be surprised considering all that he's going through. I know this has got to be hard and stressful, but y'all drop it in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Y'all can tell that story was on my mind. There's something on my mind, and I couldn't hold it in any longer. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new to my channel, and I will call y'all hoes later. Bye.